Welcome back to my channel Celebuzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. There are Hollywood stars, and then there's Johnny Depp. For over 3 decades he hasn't just entertained us, he's transformed cinema. Johnny Depp didn't take the easy road like many others in the business. He never chased safe, formulaic roles or got lost in celebrity vanity. Instead he carved his own path. From the tragic beauty of Edward Scissorhands to the madness of the Mad Hatter. From the eccentric brilliance of Captain Jack Sparrow to the tormented soul of Sweeney Todd, Johnny didn't act. He became. His body of work is a museum of misunderstood characters, wounded spirits, and magical misfits that only he could bring to life. It wasn't just about the costumes or accents. It was the emotional weight he carried, the quiet sadness behind his eyes, and the depth he gave to even the most outlandish roles. He gave voice to those who never fit in, who never felt seen. And in doing so, he became more than a movie star. He became a symbol for the outcasts, the artists, the dreamers. And maybe that's why when he fell, so many felt it personally. Because Johnny Depp never belonged to Hollywood, he belonged to us. But every legend faces a moment of darkness, and Johnny's came like a tidal wave. At the peak of his career, with awards, blockbuster franchises, and global fame, it all came crashing down. The allegations, the court battles, the headlines. It felt like watching a man being erased in real time. Studios abandoned him without waiting for evidence. Longtime collaborators turned silent. Social media, which once celebrated his every role, suddenly became a battleground. For a while, it looked like the Johnny Depp era was over. The man who had brought so much joy, who had built his legacy on integrity and artistry, was now being reduced to a headline. But what the world didn't see was the quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. A movement, a resistance. Fans from around the globe, from every corner of the internet said, "No, not like this." They rewatched his films, posted their stories, and reminded everyone who Johnny Depp really was, not the villain but the victim, not the accused but the attacked. Because for those who knew his heart, the truth was clear. Johnny wasn't just fighting for his name, he was fighting for his life. And then came the trial. 2022 wasn't just a courtroom drama, it was a cultural reckoning. Millions tuned, in daily not for entertainment, but for justice. For 6 long weeks Johnny laid bare his soul in front of the world. He didn't rage, he didn't cry for pity. He spoke with calm, pain, and honesty. Every word felt like a wound reopening. He relived abuse, humiliation, and loss, not just of love but of trust, career, and identity. And yet, he stood there, unbroken. And as the world watched, something shifted. The truth, once buried under headlines and hearsay, began to breathe again. And when the verdict came in, when the jury ruled in his favor, it wasn't just a legal victory. It was a spiritual one. A moment where every fan who had held on through the chaos felt seen, heard, and vindicated. It was more than Johnny's redemption. It was the triumph of truth over noise, of dignity over destruction. But what does a man do after he's been through the fire? Johnny Depp didn't throw a party. He didn't post a viral tweet. He disappeared. Not to hide, but to heal. He retreated from the spotlight and returned to what made him whole. Art, music, painting, traveling, playing live gigs across Europe with Jeff Beck. He found joy in the quiet places, on stage with a guitar, in a Parisian cafe with a sketchpad, in long walks without cameras. He chose solitude over spectacle. Because some wounds need time, and Johnny had nothing left to prove. He had already won. By surviving. The same man who Hollywood turned its back on was now rediscovering himself, not as a brand, but as a human. And in those silent months, fans got to see the real Johnny, grateful, humble, laughing again, not because he forgot the pain, but because he refused to be defined by it. And then, slowly, quietly, the artist returned. Not with noise, but with intention. In 2024, he stepped behind the camera for Modi, a deeply personal passion project about the troubled Italian painter Amedeo Modigliani. A man whose genius was misunderstood. A man destroyed by fame, love, and the cruel weight of public opinion. Sound familiar? Johnny wasn't just directing a film, he was telling his story through another. The film premiered to standing ovations in Europe. Critics called it haunting, intimate, courageous. But for fans, it was more than a movie. It was a message. I'm still here, and I'm still creating. And as if that wasn't enough, 2025 brought another surprise. Day Drinker, a Lionsgate thriller, marking Johnny's return to studio films. Fans gasped at his transformation. Silver hair, icy blue contacts, and a darker, more grounded performance than ever before. It was Johnny, but evolved. A man reborn, not chasing fame, but commanding respect. And none of it, none, would have been possible without his fans. The people who never gave up, who turned pain into purpose, who defended his name when the world laughed, who waited outside courtrooms, sent letters, made art, trended hashtags, and held the line. This wasn't just a fandom, it was a family. A global brotherhood and sisterhood of people who saw something in Johnny that couldn't be destroyed. Not by lies, not by media, not by Hollywood. And he knows it. He always has. That's why he takes the time, whether it's 5 seconds or 5 hours, to connect, to say thank you, to return the love that saved him. And in every interview, every project, every performance now, you can feel it. He's not just acting, he's giving back. He knows who walked with him through the fire, and he'll never forget. So what's next for Johnny Depp? The answer is whatever he wants. He's free now. Free to create, free to disappear, free to return when it feels right. Maybe he'll direct more films. Maybe he'll drop a surprise album. Maybe he'll paint in France and never come back. Or maybe, just maybe, he'll once again step into a role that changes everything. But the truth is, we don't need him to be anything else. Because we've already seen the best version of Johnny Depp. Not the pirate, not the vampire, not the chocolatier, but the man, the survivor, the father, the artist who stood tall when everything tried to tear him down. And that version? That's the one we'll remember. Forever. Johnny Depp isn't just a Hollywood comeback. He's a human comeback. A reminder that truth is worth fighting for. That art still matters. That pain doesn't have to be the end of the story. For every person who's been falsely accused, misunderstood, cast aside, Johnny's journey is hope. Proof that the world may try to break you, but if your heart is pure and your spirit strong, you can rise, stronger, braver, more brilliant than before. This is not just Johnny's victory, this is ours, the fans, the believers, the ones who saw past the lies and never let go. We didn't just watch a man survive, we watched him transform. This is more than a comeback. This is a legacy, rebuilt with truth, carried by love and sealed by resilience. Johnny Depp is no longer just a character in our favorite movies. He's a symbol of what it means to fight, to fall, and to rise again. This is his story, and it's only just beginning.